Hello, hello. I'm excited to see all of you. And this time I hope there will be no copyrights because I'm expecting from today's live stream to do a video reaction, and I decided to change a little bit topic because like previous video that I was trying to do was blocked, as you know, and I hope that now there will be no such troubles. And obviously, before doing any live stream, I'm encouraging you to leave your likes, to leave your comments below. And today I decided right now to change topic. You can see flag of Spain and the background of some city from Spain. And I decided to watch a video about decision they decided to have Spain about towards immigrants. And because I'm an immigrant, I think that will be fascinating for me to watch with you. And before doing so, of course, it would be nice, really nice, to see your feedback about our audio quality. And am I live or not? All this stuff, you know, that usually people do, they're checking this. And I see that I'm live. That is already amazing. That is already cool. Oh my god. Yes, looks like I am live. And this time, no copyright issue, I hope it will be there. And, oh, I was watching some videos, sorry. Oops. Last days, weeks, or even months, I prefer to listen some Slavic folklore, and that is fascinating because AI makes this more entertainment, like more interesting to watch. But as for now, of course, as I said before at the beginning of this video, it would be nice to watch something that is, let's say like this, related to immigrants. And what can I say? Immigrants, a lot of people do not like them in many countries around the world. Like, they're not one particular country, they're like many countries. They have, it is like they're not protected pretty often, and in many countries there are like speculations like how to treat them and all the stuff, you know. But what I was surprised to hear that Spain decided to legalize more than 500,000 migrants. And this video from channel Nate Friedman, I would love to watch this video with you. And of course, that is about how it is going on. Because one thing it is to say that we will legalize them, another thing it is to make it happen. This video has more than 5,000 comments, and yeah, I'm sure that some of you know Roman. He's in Spain. He's Russian, English-speaking YouTuber, but he is Russian, and obviously some of you know that he's living in Spain these days. And what I was thinking, actually, it is like, yeah, you can find people who live in this amazing country, and I would love in future, of course, to find out how people react to this event, because that is kind of challenging to legalize 500,000. Yeah, okay. Without Any speculations, leave your likes, find Amazon wish list, I have there many stuff, and of course leave your comment. It is absolutely free. Okay, 500,000. I don't know. That is a lot. That is insanely a lot. But if we are talking about country, big country, is it a lot or not? I don't know. Sometimes people motivated by like birth rate is low, and they want to improve their like population to give them fresh blood, how they like to say it. And yes, let's look, let's find out what is going on in Spain right now.
These are the streets of Barcelona. When you look up, these are the flags you see.
Wow.
These are the signs you see. This is what the shops look like.
It looks like many immigrants in Barcelona from Arabic-speaking countries.
These are what the parks look like. These are migrants waiting to get their papers after Spain's prime minister legalized 500,000 illegal migrants. They will reveal the truth to me in this video.
90% of Arab countries, young people came to Europe.
A migrant from Morocco stabbed an innocent woman 30 times while yelling Allahu Akbar in a quiet suburb in Barcelona. I will also be going to that suburb to ask the residents if enough is enough. The Western world is officially at stake. This is the downfall of Spain. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show. I'm from America and I'm a journalist, and I'm asking people what they think of Sanchez legalizing 500,000 migrants. What are your thoughts on that?
It's good.
Yeah, why is it good?
Why many people without paper here, without work. President Sanchez, he speak, will give you papers.
Yeah. Would you like to see millions of people become legalized here?
Yeah.
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 Like how many people would you say?
More than 1 million people.
We should do another 1 million people?
I hope.
Yeah. Okay. And do you think that they will be voting for Sanchez once they become citizens?
Again?
Do you think that they will be voting for Sanchez once they become citizens?
100%.
Yeah.
100% sure.
Yeah, it is interesting that I see that documentations for immigrants, as for me, I'm extremely lucky in many ways because I have all documentations here, living in America, enjoying my freedom. And in Spain, I don't know so much about Spain, let's be honest, because I don't know Spanish language. I don't know, I don't know a lot about Spain. Maybe I can say for sure that I have a lot that I can improve if we are talking about Spain, yes, like knowledges. But what I know for sure that when you arrive to another country, it is extremely important to try to speak their language and to assimilate yourself. When we are talking about one person, it is one story. When we are talking about thousands, it is another story, and when we are talking about 100,000s, impact on society already will be different too. And what can I say? Adaptation, people changing, society changing. Maybe they're in this situation when they don't have so big choice what they can do as government. They don't have so much money to deport everyone, and how they would do this. Deportation is extremely expensive program, let's be honest. Not every country can afford to buy tickets and to do all these things. Anyway, let's go.
why you have Long Live Sanchez,
Yeah,
right?
that's why.
Yeah. Okay.
We pray for him.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's good guy.
Yeah. And is Sanchez good for the Islamic community?
Yes.
Yeah. And why is he good for the Islamic community here?
Muslim people like it.
Why do they
Because
like it?
He stand with Iran. He stand with Iran, with Palestine.
Yes.
That's why people like it.
Of course. Hey, we're making a YouTube video. Can I talk to you? So, are you just gonna take a piss here? He's just taking a piss right there. No, we don't wanna. I don't wanna.
All right, get in my hand.
What?
Get your thing.
I don't have $5.
Thing.
I don't have it.
Go.
Okay. Well,
Go.
Good job. All I wanted was to ask these migrants where they came from. They were just sitting outside an art museum in Barcelona, and that's when they just attacked us. All right, so this is just another Saturday in Barcelona. We were told that there's a protest here. I didn't see anything scheduled, but this is just what they do all the time. So let's just talk to a few folks here, see how different it is here versus in the United States. Who wants to translate?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. It is Barcelona, is it? Barcelona. I was not ever there, but I was expecting it to be more, I would say, I mean, I can understand some immigrants, they don't have jobs, they don't have place to live, and I'm like again, but it looks like some of them they behaving not well. It is completely different. It's important to respect country when you're moving to the country. Yes.
But again, all right, there. Hi, hola. What do you think about the 500,000 illegal migrants that Sanchez legalized?
Primero, la palabra ilegal es errónea.
Oh.
Son personas, trabajadores que están sin papeles.
The people, workers, they are people, workers who have no papers.
Para empezar, están trabajando con unos sueldos de miseria, pero además para la economía española son necesarios, imprescindibles. Ya no solamente porque están haciendo un trabajo, además porque sabemos que
But all the people, the human beings, basically that's your message, but also because we know that the birth rate is quite low, I guess, in Spain.
la pirámide de natalidad es insuficiente para los próximos años. Y además de todo, son personas que están viviendo aquí hace años, muchos.
Yeah, they're legalizing not everyone, but majority of those who are living in Spain for years. That's the main idea, if I'm understanding correctly. And that is, like she said, that people working for the economy of Spain, and that will help them to pay taxes, and if they will have documents. And that makes sense. That completely makes sense. And 500,000, oh my god, that is a lot. That is like immediately their economy will booming, it will grow. And I mean, if can you imagine each of them will pay like some amount of money to the budget, it does make sense. It does make sense, yes.
Ya hace años y están trabajando con unas condiciones que son injustas. Necesitan papeles. No solamente podemos dar papeles a la gente que lo puede pagar, sino a la gente que lo necesita. Tenemos muchos turistas en este país que están destruyendo esta ciudad porque la ocupan y no nos permiten vivir en la ciudad con tranquilidad, ¿no? ¿Para enriquecer a quién?
Hola. Do you speak English?
Yes, I do.
That is interesting perspective. I would say that it is enlightening me. It's giving me interesting angles from their corner of view. Yeah, I think that definitely now I'm already even this woman said like not so much but a lot. I mean, by time she gave like speech less than 1 minute, but she gave so much information, and that is cool. That is really cool.
Okay, awesome. They legalized 500,000 migrants. Do you know what I'm speaking about? What do you think about this action?
Oh, I think it's really good. I'm really astonished, or I think Pedro Sanchez now is doing really good things. He's the only guy who is opposite to Trump.
Yes.
He really says what all the governments should set, and also what he did with the immigrants is also, I think it's really cool because I mean, we all need the immigrants, you know, and all over Europe.
Yes.
They are very important in our economy, and legalizing it is also a sign to the public that is a sign of respect.
Yes,
You know, when you
yes.
legalize it, you respect them, and yeah.
So I've spoken to the other side who believe that legalizing these migrants, that it's about votes. They say that they will all vote for Sanchez, and that's why they're legalizing. What do you say to that?
I want to say that that's a stupid argument.
Yeah.
I'm really stupid.
And why is it stupid?
I mean, even if he does it for votes, if something is okay.
Yeah, like
Because he did it, you know?
Yeah.
So if he does this for votes, okay, he can do more things like that for votes. You know?
I mean, these people they will receive documents, but they do not have right immediately to vote. Like in the USA, I know that because I have green cards, I do not have right to vote in any elections, and I'm not voting, and I believe that same situation in Spain. To have right to vote, you must have to be citizen of Spain. That's how I'm assuming it is going on there. And obviously, in order to receive passport, they're not giving immediately passports. That's what I know for sure. They're giving them documentations that are helping them to become legal there. It's kind of green card holders, something like that, when they will be able to open bank accounts, to find jobs, to go to study in some institutions, to be legally there. And their rights as human beings will be protected. Actually, it is helping people to become less, do not be criminalized, because like when you have hundreds of thousands of people who are not in your like laws, they're not applying for them, it looks like this, because you can, I mean, what can you do? Only deport them, that's all. I mean, but they're working, they have children, they need to go send these children to the schools, and yeah, that is kind of making everything easier. Yeah.
No?
Sure. So I went recently to.
It is
Aleks.
amazing.
I don't know if you've
Yes,
been there. Yeah.
I live here.
So
I live here.
I noticed some differences. Like when I'm walking around here, I see more people from Spain. When I was in El Raval, I saw more people from Bangladesh, Pakistan, whatever. When you go over to El Raval, do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable there?
Yes, I mean, I've been living here since more than 20 years.
Yeah.
I know there are some streets a little bit strange, but
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
I feel safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know some people are concerned about the rise of Islam in Europe. They saying there are
I
more.
know.
What do you say to those people?
I mean, it's the religion. Some things they're difficult. It's very difficult issue.
Yeah.
You know, also for me, there are some things I really.
Yeah.
It's a problem because all the countries where there is the Islam, the women they don't have rights. Okay, so but I would never create like something against the people, because all the individuals, they are nice and respectful. It's more the political system which creates this yes.
Yeah.
So we have to face it. I mean, it's face facts. We all are. It's a international movement, or you know, the clothes are made in Bangladesh, and of course they come here.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's two sides of the coin. If you exploit other people in other parts of the world, you can expect that. I mean, of course they want to come. They see us happy, so we have to. It's a problem, but we have to save. We have to find a solution and not anti.
Of course, I understand. I was recently in London and I asked a woman a question I'm going to ask you, which is that would you be okay if Barcelona became 90% Muslim, let's say? Would that be okay with you?
What's the question for?
The question is
really,
because
it's a stupid question.
I'll explain.
For me,
I'll ask you why I'm telling you why I'm asking it. I'm asking it because when I speak to Muslim people, they tell me that Muslims should follow Sharia law. And Sharia law, you have to wear a burqa. It's kind of like not very convenient. So that's why I'm asking, because if they become...
It's one part of the Muslims. They are not all like this.
I spoke to a lot who said that.
I think every Muslim follow the Sharia law.
Wherever Muslim goes, we stick to our Sharia laws.
You're from London and Berlin. Maybe there is really a problem because there are these clans. But
I believe that, I don't know, yes, it's all about different. This guy, he's trying to speculate right now. That's what I see right now. He's trying to speculate. Obviously, you can find different groups in Muslim religion too. But they cannot like dictate how to live people. And like, maybe some branches they have these rules or some kind of beliefs, system beliefs, but I don't believe that every like have this system of beliefs. It's like in Christianity, they have different, not all like they're like they claim that they're like billions Christians, but in reality, do you think that all of them they have the same system of beliefs? Obviously not. All Christians divided. They have different beliefs, extremely different beliefs, and same in Muslim, I think. Yeah.
I mean, Europe is so big. I don't think this is problem really serious.
Let's see how serious it is. I met up with Barcelona Councilman Gonzalo de Oro. He's a member of Vox, which is their right-wing party, and we went on a walk.
Come to Africa.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Africa.
This is Fraction. Just upload an image, place your order.
He was able to meet one of the officials. That is interesting. This guy has some kind of connections or what?
The main problem is that it's not going to be 500,000, because when you have the papers, you have the opportunity to bring here your family. So in fact, we think will be more or less 2 million people.
They're going to become citizens when?
Maybe in 1 year, 2 years. The people who now get the papers, in 2 years they can vote. It is not a problem only of Spain, it's a problem of all Europe. It's not normal that one person who doesn't speak Spanish can vote like in Spanish.
So you have people voting that can't even speak Spanish?
Yes.
That's really crazy.
Theoretically, they have to do
Why he's saying that it is crazy? In America, this guy is from America. I don't know, but I believe that in America, now in America is official. I want to check this information before like talking about this. I want to check it. Do you must in English? Do you must talk in English? I want to show you this information. Around 8% of the USA population doesn't speak English very well, according to the US Census Bureau. That makes voting in elections difficult for eligible voters with limited English-speaking skills, leaving them unable to understand the ballot or other election materials. And as a result, currently 331 jurisdictions meet the requirements outlined above. It is like more than 5% of the voting population are not proficient in English. Navajo, Vietnamese, Chinese, Filipino, Spanish. That's why they're translating these ballots. And that's why I said about this, like this guy from America, and why he's talking like let's listen again what he said.
It is not a problem only of Spain, it's a problem of all Europe. This is not normal that one person who doesn't speak Spanish can vote like an Spanish.
So you have people voting that can't even speak Spanish?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
Theoretically, they have to do an exam.
His reaction of this guy I do not like. That's really crazy. He's like he's like using mood of this guy. He's not like, but he's from the USA. He must understand that in USA people they're translating to Spanish for Spanish voters' bulletins. But again, I'm not a voter. I'm just looking. I do not have right to vote, and I will not vote, of course. But I'm just see this interesting behavior. It's not okay.
Of history of Spain, of the Constitution, but everybody passed this exam.
Okay, so for the people that come in that don't speak Spanish and they're voting, do they vote for Sanchez and his
Everybody,
party?
everybody.
They all do.
Everybody, yeah.
Okay.
50 years ago, Spain
Yeah.
and Italy were the only two countries in West Europe that the 90% of the population was white and Catholic. Now, you have here, for instance, in the Raval, the 80% of population is from abroad.
And there is a lot of crime in this area?
Absolutely. So we have to go with police.
Yeah.
And especially at night. Okay.
Are there a lot of mosques in Raval or no?
Yes, this is, you can see now.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I'm understanding concern of this guy completely. And this concern about safety, it is, I'm understanding his concern. And especially, like, but I believe also at the same time, safety concern usually is there when poverty is prospering, let's say like this. If poverty has roots in system, and there are a lot of inequality. There are not enough opportunities for people to become legal or to have right to I don't know, to work and stuff like that. It would create much more problem. Like, or otherwise, like if they decided to give them, to legalize them, give them also programs to study Spanish. That's what I think it is important, to give programs to study Spanish. Why not? And to give them at first documentations for right to work, and then already to give them rights like in order to become citizen and for right to vote, you need to pass Spanish, like knowledge of Spanish language. That's how usually it works.
Everybody is from abroad. Absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
You will see little by little. No business is Spanish. No one. All are kebab, Muslim food, halal food. We can see what happened in the UK, what happened in France, what happened in Belgium, and we don't do anything. So we do.
So this is Spain right now, guys. This is Barcelona. You can see people are covering their faces. We just spoke to some people here from Africa, and this is what it looks like. This is the line to get in to get help with the papers.
I do not like when he's dehumanizing completely people. People, they're people. Give them I don't know. Dehumanization I don't like when people dehumanizing people. Look at these, they're standing looking, want to have documents. They want to be legal there. What you would do in their situation if you're an immigrant? People usually want to live normal life in legal fields. That's all. And the fact that they're opening business and they will be able to pay taxes for this business, this money goes to the city. What is wrong with this?
Where are you from?
I'm from Algeria.
Algeria?
Sí.
Ah.
Can I ask you what brings you to Spain?
Spain.
Yeah.
Pourquoi est-ce que vous venez à l'Espagne?
C'est l'Espagne, c'est grande en Barcelona, c'est grand centre, c'est mucha gente de bueno, mucha gente. C'est bien. Pour moi, Barcelone, que c'est meilleur, c'est pas comme France, Paris, Marseille, tu sais.
Where are you from?
I'm from Morocco.
Morocco?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're mostly like Pakistan, Morocco.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get our papers. There are some organizations that give it to you by an appointment. You have to get an appointment online, to wait, to go to an association, and to enter and to describe and to give your situation to that association.
Okay.
You need work, you need shelter, you need food, so you are in a miserable situation. So this association called Ibn Battuta, maybe it is a Moroccan association that gives this paper. The culture in our countries, your neighbor go to Spain, that one go to Germany, that one go to United States, that one. So it's a
Everyone's going to Europe.
It's a cultural.
Yeah.
I think that Spain should help these immigrants because most of them are not, unconscious or doesn't have that background. They all have engineering,
These are all engineers.
Yeah, especially in something they could help this country. We came.
Yeah, that is true, but because this guy at the beginning, he was dehumanizing them, looking at them. That is again misunderstanding that a lot of people believe that all immigrants they're terrible. No, like they're different. You can find bad people, you can find good people, but many of them they have education. That is true, and they have many of them they have degrees. Sometimes locals do not have bachelor degree. Let's be honest, but that is true about immigrants. Many of them they have degrees, and
to change, to like you know, achieve our dreams. Like at the end for money.
At the end, it's for money.
It's some money.
At the end, it's for money. Okay,
It's
so
some money.
you're saying because at the beginning you say it's for culture, but in the end it's for money.
Yeah, but at the end it's money. To
At
be
least you're
honest with
honest.
you.
Yeah,
To be
no,
honest
I
with you.
appreciate the honesty. What percentage of crimes?
like I want to look. If you don't have a border, you don't have a country. I want to read some comments. People will willingly destroy their own country for the fear of looking. What does it mean? What the hell? Spain can say goodbye to all the tourist dollars. The ignorance, the brainwashing is astonishing. 600 years of fighting undone in 20. Spain is really going to regret this. These are all engineers. The joke tells itself. Again, one of the things that time will show truth. Only time will show us were they right or not, or they were wrong. Who knows? Time will show truth. Like we will see.
Committed by migrants.
80%.
But I see that a lot of people, they in comments at least, it's interesting what countries they're from, why they so hating immigrants, because they're from Muslim countries, I believe. That is maybe a religious aspect below this. It could be.
80%. So here's the thing. 80% of the crime is committed by migrants. What percent of Spain is migrants?
Is that a real
15.
analysis?
15. I don't know. I'm asking. He's the expert.
80%?
But let's just say it's true, okay? And the reason partly I'm here because I saw there were
Let me
4
interrupt
stabbings.
you.
But
Do
before you
you
interrupt
know,
me,
guys,
I want to
do you know why immigrants make crimes? Do you know why? Because they don't have their rights.
Right. So this guy yells Allahu Akbar, stabs
If
a
I
girl
have-
30 times. Let me finish what I'm saying.
If I'm
Hold on.
having
He's like, I don't like this. It's very. They're arguing. They're not talking. He's like using some. They're trying to put him. Because he doesn't have rights, this guy. He doesn't have documents. And that's why, and this guy, he's like. He's American guy. A lot of people hate the America in Spain right now.
my rights and my papers, I will go to work.
Okay.
I'm going to a restaurant, to a hotel, to a company.
Man,
hey,
just can you wait?
I wanna work. I wanna give a value. I wanna make sure that I'm able to work.
Can I
And
ask
they
you-
say no, you don't have papers. Go back home. So in the morning, I'm hungry. I don't have money. So when I found a phone, close to the beach, someone like having some light, I will buy it to buy some food. The phone doesn't make me like richer or doesn't give me, but the crimes don't tell me they are killing people.
They are.
They are like 90% racism here.
What?
Racism.
From Spain.
Yeah.
Okay. They're racist as they let you into their country.
So
how can they be racist if they're letting you into their
You
country?
look at me, I have some trouble, big trouble. Look at my hat, my face, my hair. So I look Arab.
No, you look.
When I got to the metro, people like.
But do you know why they do that? Can I?
I'm a
explain?
good person
Wait,
inside.
Can you let me talk? Wait, can I say something for a second? The reason they're doing that, the reason they're getting worried, is because when this innocent woman is stabbed 30 times, the guy is yelling, "Allah is great." He's yelling Allahu Akbar, right? So people see that and they get worried. Okay, it's not. Do you understand that?
So So now we are involving in like what do we call like Islamophobia?
Islamophobia. Okay. So my favorite term. But well, it's not
Allahu
too.
Akbar, it doesn't mean that God is great. Dios is
It literally
Dios es
means
mejor.
Allah is great. But before we talk about Islamophobia, you mentioned that if you get the papers, that the reason that they're committing crimes, migrants, is because they don't have papers. Do you think this guy is stabbing this woman because he doesn't have papers?
Let me tell you something. I need one answer from the government and from Spain and from. Why an immigrant came to Spain and he should like spend 2 years, like empadronamiento, 2 años, like to get his paper? Why? Why shouldn't it be like just 3 months? Why?
He's saying why he can't become a citizen in 3 months?
As a lawyer, I
How
can
could
say
be a
that
person live without a paper
So
and
you
having
wanna be-
his food, lunch,
But you want to be a
breakfast,
citizen in 3 months?
shelter, you know,
The thing
the
is that you
alquiler?
go in
Why? It should be
without permission.
less.
Yeah.
All immigrants are good people.
Okay. All immigrants are good people?
Are good people.
The
You
ones
know
that
why?
are stabbing people are
You know
good?
why? Because most immigrants here, Algerian, Tunisian, Pakistani, Bangladesh. Okay. That's the first one. You know, Southern America, like Colombia, you know, their rights are better than our rights. Why? They got the nationality faster.
Well,
Because they speak Spanish,
no.
they are like Christians.
No.
Now, let me tell you,
So that's
Spain is one of the greatest
international law.
countries in the world, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's the only one to stand against America, the United States. Pedro Sanchez. He said to Donald Trump, hey, we don't want your like planes here. Pedro Sanchez and his government are
You can
stronger.
see that people go to Spain and that's what one they oppose in Spain to the USA. That is interesting.
It's the first like country that make sure that immigrants should get their rights. You can go to France, you can spend your whole life here. Italy, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, you would never get your papers. All the immigrants came from France now, like Netherlands, Germany, to.
For example,
I said that it's the best. Okay.
When they become citizens, will they vote for Sanchez? They will vote for Sanchez.
Yeah.
So to me, this is
To me, I will vote for Sanchez for the whole of my life. To be honest.
even sometimes, for example, in Emirates, if you go in without papers, you're not have to 2 years for just empadronamiento and so and so, but you are sent into prison for 5 years. Sorry, for 4 years, and afterwards they launch you, and then you cannot come back. Okay, that's in the best.
90% of Arab countries, young people.
Yeah, that's like the problem that in many countries they send like immigrants. They do not receive real documents. They send them to prison. That is true. Then they like do not have chance to return to the country. Yeah, it's crazy.
Into Europe.
How much?
90%.
90%.
90%. In Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia.
No, but that is not.
You go to Dubai? No. Emirates? No. Qatar? No. Where? Spain, Italy, France, Belgium,
So
Netherlands.
are you Muslim?
I'm a Muslim.
Okay. Do you want to see Europe become a Muslim continent?
I'm not coming here like to spread Islam. Okay. But if you convince me to be a Christian, I will accept it.
Okay.
If you convince me to be a Jewish, I will accept it.
Okay.
Give me evidence. Give me, I don't know things about Christianity, Judaism.
How many people here you think are Muslim in this line?
Like, if there is like 40 people here, you will find, like you will find 49 or 48, like 3 or 4 of them not Muslim.
Okay, so most are Muslim.
Most of them. I can go to the hospital and do a surgery to my my arm is broken without paying nothing. If you go to Morocco, they will need like 7,000, 4,000.
So in Spain, let me ask you, in Spain, if you injure your arm now, you're not a citizen, do you have to pay to get help?
No. You can go to the ayuntamiento, empadronamiento.
So let me-
They will give you like tarjeta sanitaria. You can go to your doctor. It's your analysis?
No, like this, because this guy is American, he's not understanding about how important to have free health care, because I cannot, like, for example, now my teeth, I'm doing my teeth tomorrow if you will have an appointment, but I do my teeth because of a generosity of Glenn. He was helping me to pay for my teeth, and I'm doing them now slowly and steadily. But if we are in majority of countries, of course, medicine in Europe, medicine and welfare, healthcare, it is free. That is true, and that's why this guy, because this guy, he's American, his perspectives a little bit different, and he thinks, oh, he's not paying, that is bad. He's not understanding that healthcare must be free everywhere around the world. It doesn't matter where you're living. In Russia, in Germany, in China, in America, healthcare must be free. That is my opinion. That is like, yeah. Oh, but again, that is just different mindset, beliefs. Okay, he has enough money, salary, this guy, to pay for his healthcare needs, but it is so extremely expensive in America. Yeah.
And surgery for you, take care of you. They are not hungry. They're not hungry.
But that's
These
why
people.
you're here,
We give it like
because-
there are like difference in rights.
Oh, what's this?
There are some
This
difference
is
in rights. That's why we give it.
This is healthcare.
Okay, this is healthcare. Okay.
Price and money.
So you say that you're here for culture. I think it's got a lot to do with this, because if I'm in Africa and I hear that there is a country waiting for me that will pay all my medical bills, pay my food, I will come too, right?
Where are you from, man?
I'm from New York. I'm from the
You're
United
from the
States.
United
Yeah.
You are from New York. If you have like, if you are in danger in Morocco, the police will come, the officers, everything. He's from New York, United States. They will take care of you. They will give you the priority. But if you're like from the people, he's a Moroccan.
So if I come to Morocco illegally, I will get taken care of in Morocco?
You couldn't go illegally there.
I can't.
You can't.
But you can come illegally here.
We came illegally here.
Okay. All right.
A very interesting thing. So he said.
Yeah, here that is good
hospital-
point. In Morocco, people cannot go illegally. Here, people arrive illegally, but so at the same time, how are they able to fly there? How it happened? Like that is a good question.
It's free. No, it's not free. We pay his hospital. Okay, it's not free. Nothing is free.
Right.
No Christian man or no Jewish man can convince a Muslim to convert.
Okay.
Why we're stronger? Why nobody can? Why no Christian
Oh,
man?
that I do not like this. If he thinks that, I do not like completely the way how he's talking. Immigrants, I mean like, not immigrants, I mean like, I completely agree with this guy. Nothing is free, that is true. And for this, money goes from taxpayers. That is true. And he's telling that if he's stronger, why you're not staying in Morocco? If, oh my God, that was terrible statement.
Interesting thing. So he said, hospital is free. No, it's not free.
Yeah, it's
We
not
pay
free.
His hospital. Okay, it's not free. Nothing is free.
Right.
No Christian man or no Jewish man can convince a Muslim
Oh
to
my
convert.
God.
Okay.
He said before that if you give me, oh my God, that is so like, I cannot believe that he said this, like, no.
Why we're stronger? Why nobody can? why no Christian man or Jewish man can convince a Muslim to convert. And the opposite is correct. I can convince you.
You can convince me to be Muslim.
If I'm like, I don't have much ideas and much information about Islam, but I can convince you.
Okay, how? Try it. Try
No,
it.
I'm not gonna like a lot of. I'm just learning. I'm 32. I keep learning Islam.
So Spain has a line of Islamic migrants every day that are getting free healthcare. The organization facilitating it is Moroccan, and they get their money from the Spanish government. So Spain is paying for their own invasion.
I believe he said this because it was defensive mechanism. They attacked him, and he was like, he had this defensive mechanism.
To learn more about this, I sat down with Ada Yuk, who has just been banned from the UK for speaking at Tommy's rally in September 2025.
Women and children are no longer safe in Europe. In 2024, 46% of the rapes committed in Spain were caused by migrants, even though they make up only 18% of the population.
I want to start with the fact that you were just banned from the UK. Can you tell me what your reaction was to that? What happened?
So, to put it in context, I spoke at the last UTK rally last September in London, and my speech went like super viral. So I thought I was gonna get banned afterwards, but I didn't. I went back to London a couple of times. And then this week, actually last week, I texted with Tommy Robinson. I was like, hey, I think at the end we are gonna come, Joey and I, to the UTK rally. It would be great to speak, etc. And 2 days after, I got banned.
And what was their reason for banning you?
So apparently I'm not conducive to the public good. Me. Like, when literally they have like pedophiles, rapists, murderers walking free in their country, but I am a threat to their safety.
Right.
Can you believe that?
No, honestly no. Is this a common belief in Spain that they support Sanchez because he supports Iran?
Yes, but I would say they support Sanchez because he hates Israel. I think the hatred towards Israel and Jewish people is bigger than his love for Iran, for example. Here in Spain, a lot of people, as you probably saw, there are so many anti-Semites, and there's this deep hate towards Israel. So because
I got this, what she means.
of that, and that's very true, he won a lot of popularity within the left just for standing on the way of Israel and the United States.
So you're surrounded by people in this country who hate Israel. Why don't you hate Israel?
Because it doesn't make any sense for me. Why should I hate Israel? That's my question. When I'm on a street and I see a migrant from North Africa, I cross the road because I'm afraid they are gonna stab me or rob me, okay? When I'm on the street and I see someone wearing a kippah, I'm not scared.
So for those who don't understand, including me, honestly, Spain elections. So I saw, I was just checking the prediction markets on Kalshi. It's 26% chance that Sanchez will not leave office this year. So what does that mean? Do you have to form a coalition? How do the Spanish elections actually work?
Exactly. So we have different political parties. And of course, you need a majority in order to form a government, but you can do a coalition with other small parties in order to have the majority. The problem is there are very few parties that are right-wing and a lot of parties that are left-wing. So what happens is that all the left parties, even the very tiny ones, unite, so they beat us and they stay in power. And one thing that's been very criticized and people are not aware, we have a very left party from Catalonia, where we are now, that believes in the independence of Catalonia. And Pedro Sanchez, during his campaign, the last campaign, he was...
Hello, Aleks. Hi, Aleks, just tuned in. Hello to you. Hi, nice to see you. Hi to you. Thank you for being with me today and tuning in. I'm trying to understand what is going on in Spain, and the more I watch, the deeper problems I see, the bigger problems I see. And what is going on in Spain, it is a reflection you can see what is going around the world. it is opposite movement what is going in America and opposite movement what is going in many countries around Europe. And that is kind of interesting video and kind of opening you different perspectives. Obviously, 500,000 migrants, that is a lot for any country, and it is a lot for Spain, I believe. But as this guy said there, like one Republican guy, he said that because these 500,000 people can become Spanish citizens in future couple of years, that means that they can bring from home their family, and they will be not 500,000 but up to 2 million people, and that is already a different number. I think you always choose interesting topics. Thank you a lot. Today I was trying to do, thank you so much. Yeah, today I was trying to watch video about UFO actually, but my copyright issue, YouTube blocked live stream, and I'm like, oops, what can I say? Okay.
I will never do a coalition with them because it is not constitutional what they want. What happened is that he needed their little votes that they had in order to form a government, and he formed a government with this left-wing party from Catalonia that wants the independence of Catalonia, even though he was against that in the beginning. Am I being selfish for bringing kids into this mess that we have right now in Europe? How are they going to have to go to mosques when they go to schools? Like, how is it going to be the future if we go through the same line that we are going? So I do think that people also think about these consequences as well, even though we need kids so we can fight them.
Well, let's see if there is a little bit of hope. I went to the suburb where that Moroccan man stabbed an innocent woman 30 times while yelling Allahu Akbar to interview the people there, and you might be surprised to hear what they say. I saw that there was like a horrific stabbing here by a man from Morocco who was saying Allahu Akbar, and he stabbed a woman 30 times. Like, is it a concern for you if immigration continues that will happen more?
No creo que sea un tema de Alá. Creo que fue un brote psicótico.
A psychotic outbreak. People, this woman, she's separating religious from real life problems, because yeah, it makes sense because if people arrive in country, and like this guy said before, if for during years they would not have ability to legalize themselves, that what is happening, they do not have opportunity to open bank account, like I said before, they would not be able to find job or to go to study to the university. They would be afraid to go to study language, or maybe they would not be able to use some programs to study Spanish language in Spain, and it makes sense. And maybe it was true that this guy was psychological breakdown. And when I was in detention center, I saw that some people, they were in the detention center more than 1 year, and after such a long time of being there, this guy was already not able to hold himself, to keep his strength together. And on one hand, he was believing in American dream, like on other hand, he hated America for being in detention center. And this guy, he was, I don't remember what country he was from, maybe Palestine, something like that, I don't know. And because in detention center you can find people from different countries, especially in America, and many of them have quite mind-blowing background, and when you listen to them, you're like, wow, that is crazy, because that is crazy. I don't know what word to find for this when you listen in their background. And with this situation with this guy, of course, what he had done, it is insanely cruel. It is never right thing to do, never, under any circumstances. But it looks like some people, they just fall into this psychological trap, and they kind of, like they say, like this woman said, they breaking down, and that's what is happening.
Eyes are very, but I don't know it's Allah or not Allah. It's not true. No sé, no lo han dicho seguro. Es decir, we don't search.
Like through the police or anything, they haven't confirmed it was a religious motivated crime.
So, but
only one person. It's not in one place and in the street, and it's one street don't have a lot of people. No ha pasado en una calle con mucha gente como lo de las Ramblas, ¿no?
But it didn't happen like in Ramblas with terrorism, when terrorist attack was there. But it didn't happen. It just was only one-off, she thinks.
Just one-off, okay. I know that there were like 4 stabbings in the course of just one day, and this man, he did say Allahu Akbar, God is great, in his language. So do you think that it could have been religiously motivated given that?
No estoy convencida. It's different. It's one person. I think it's local.
Okay. The news of the horrific stabbing here. A man chanting Allahu Akbar from Morocco stabbed an innocent woman 30 times. What do you think of Sanchez legalizing 500,000 migrants?
No, a ver, yo pienso que estamos confundiendo las cosas. O sea, Pedro Sánchez, que le está dando papeles.
Yes, this guy, here, like, you can find double. He's trying to put him in trap, this guy, but at the same time, I'm understanding his concern that probably this guy is religious, but he's not living in, he's American. Why he's concerned so much? That maybe, yeah, it is interesting to find out what people. Yeah, for me it's interesting what local people say. They separate in religion from real life problems.
Papeles a gente que está trabajando aquí desde hace mucho tiempo. Está legalizando un problema de esta gente. A mí me parece bien. Segundo, me parece que no es justo. Primero, que no está muy claro todavía si fue un extranjero o fue un español. Pero aunque sí fuera, la inmigración, la gente que viene, no es porque quiera. Uno no se va de su país porque sí, se va porque tiene problemas. Y los europeos, concretamente con la gente de África, hemos sido los que hemos provocado esto, porque nos aprovechamos de ellos, de sus recursos en país, y después no los aceptamos ni los ayudamos. Esta es mi opinión.
How can we keep Spain safe, bringing in 500,000 people that are not vetted?
Para mí, que ya tengo bastantes años, sí, en la época franquista ibas más seguro por la calle, pero ¿a costa de qué? A costa de no poder expresar ninguna opinión. Entonces, una cosa por la otra.
One second, I didn't read these comments. Subtitles, I mean.
How can we keep Spain safe, bringing in 500,000 people that are not vetted?
Para mí, que ya tengo bastantes años, sí, en la época franquista ibas más seguro por la calle, pero ¿a costa de qué? A costa de no poder expresar ninguna opinión. Entonces, una cosa por la otra. Yo creo que hay que normalizarlo, no solo en España, sino en toda Europa, repito, y en Estados Unidos no entro, pero también porque No solo en España, sino en toda Europa, repito, y en Estados Unidos no entro pero también porque me parece que Estados Unidos, siendo el modelo democrático para mucha gente, tiene muchas mancanzas. Y lo tengo con hijos que han estudiado allí, se han doctorado allí y están muy agradecidos en Estados Unidos, pero no entienden la forma de la gente, sobre todo desde que está Trump. Tienen muchas mancanzas. Y lo tengo con hijos que han estudiado
There who have done their doctorates
allí,
there.
se han doctorado allí y están muy agradecidos en Estados Unidos, pero no entienden la forma de la gente, sobre todo desde que está Trump, ¿no?
I recently went to El Raval, and when I was there, it didn't look like Spain. Here, it looks like Spain. There's lots of people that are from Spain. There's children playing around. It's a very nice neighborhood. In El Raval, most people that I saw were from Bangladesh, Pakistan, countries like this. Are you concerned about that happening to your nice neighborhood here?
No, es verdad esto es cierto. Hay sitios en que están más unidos las comunidades extranjeras, magrebíes, pakistaníes, chinos. Hay que normalizarlo y ordenarlo, pero no culpabilizarles totalmente a ellos de este problema. No es muy diferente el Raval a Esplugas, no tiene nada que ver. Aquí de vez en cuando desgraciadamente pasan cosas como las que pasaron.
One second,
Pero
I'm thinking about this guy questions, and it looks like he's racist. Oh my god.
hay que normalizarlo y ordenarlo, pero no culpabilizarles totalmente a ellos de este problema. No es muy diferente el Raval a Esplugas, no tiene nada que ver. Aquí de vez en cuando desgraciadamente pasan cosas como las que pasaron, pero esto es una noticia. Allí en el Raval y en otros barrios es más habitual que pase esto, eso es cierto.
I have friends in Germany, France, Italy. They say that Spain is one of the best countries in Europe. To be honest with you, they came in from France now in Germany to get their rights here. You are fighting for us. Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias.
Next up, I spoke with Coral Rubio.
Yes, so this guy looks like he's grateful that in Spain people are able to legalize themselves. And for many people, I can understand that there's like legalization is a big problem. It is enormous a stone on the way of normal life. You cannot go too far without documents. You cannot like be relaxed or like, yeah, it is extremely important.
We translated for our conversation with the migrants from Morocco, and she is also a lawyer. She's an advisor to Vox, and she specializes in criminal and international law. And check out what she reveals here. So in Spain, they are voting to create a Muslim party?
Yeah, it is. Well, in Andalusia, which is the south of Spain, now they are voting next weekend. And one of the parties that goes for the run, they are a Muslim party.
In Belgium, they have that too. A party that's just dedicated to instilling Sharia.
When I was younger, you could see maybe one girl with a handkerchief on her head.
Yeah.
Now they are even covering their mouth with a mask, or they are having this niqab.
Yeah.
And you only can see their eyes.
Right.
If you have a neighbor,
I believe that I mean, we need to understand that how to say this, to put this in right words. There are bigger population, Muslim population bigger, and these countries, they have bigger population, and these people, if they arrive in, see, that's how system is adopting.
your same village in Morocco or in Pakistan, and they see you without the handkerchief, they say, okay, you're a slut. I'm going to tell your family. And so you cover your face.
Even while you're here, you worry about the family back there, that they're going to get killed if you don't wear it.
Well, here we had a case that two 16-year-old girls from Terrassa, from a village very near Barcelona, they were killed because they didn't want to marry their cousins. Yeah, I mean, and they.
That is insane.
They are here nowadays. They are forcing girls to marry people they don't know, or that maybe.
In Spain.
Yeah.
Can you say it again?
The police went to the residence of old people and told them not to go out when there was no light, to prevent them from being robbed in the street. So it's a kind, our people don't have freedom to go out.
So yeah, so you're simultaneously letting people in who are rapists, murderers, robbers. and
Not
then
everyone.
When you let them in, you tell your own citizens that they can't go out at night.
Yeah.
What you see behind me is the Great Replacement. Right there is the visualization.
But I'm
We're in the
understanding
middle of
completely.
Barcelona.
I'm understanding completely his concern completely. Like, it is another culture. It is another. They have another way of living, and it looks kind of it's not just different, completely foreigner, extremely foreigner, and especially people afraid for human rights of women and safety of their children. It makes sense. Everything makes sense. At the same time, I think that I believe that they will find the right solution what to do. It is like their country, and they know best for their country what to do. It is like not America. Spain is Spain. They do this in own way. They're independent, and they could do whatever they want, what they think is better for their country, for their society. But at the same time, it is interesting how, for me, interesting how society is changing. That's what is interesting for me. Okay.
And we're surrounded by hijabs.
Spain may very well become the first Islamic country in Europe. You heard from
No.
our guy from Morocco that his friends are all leaving Germany, Italy, France, and going to Spain.
They didn't become yet. Don't
Because they'll be made
going.
citizens quickly, and when they're citizens, they will vote for Sanchez and use the left for their bidding. This concludes my episode in Spain. If you want to see where I go and catch Chicago Public Schools busing students to protest with your tax dollars, then click on this video on your screen, and I'll...
Oh, that is insane. What is going on there? That is insane. I think that such news, they might blow in many ways. Such news, they're helping. I mean, the problem with me, like when I'm expressing my opinion, I don't know what to say in many ways, because oh my god, I don't know what is the best for people, and as a result, plus like at the top of this, I'm not expert. I'm not expert in politics, and I don't know what is good whole for society. Yes, I know that many people, they want to start new life in new country because of repression. That is true. But at the same time, if you come to a new country as a migrant and you want to start new life there, in my mind, you must to prepare yourself to change yourself, like to study the language of this country, or to study culture of this country and to become part of this society, because yeah, that is the way how I see this. But it is interesting, completely interesting. I want to watch. Oh, hello to Charmy. Hello to you. How to you? Thank you a lot for your message. I hope you are doing well. And 2 months ago they were planning to grant residency. Now they granted. I mean, they're in process of doing so. And I want to watch another video that will kind of explain better this topic in order to understand how drastic these changes for Spain, and how drastic these changes not only for the Spain but for entire world, because that is something what was not happening in Europe for a while, I believe so. And it is American news. Illegal aliens in Europe, they do not call them aliens. Only in America they call them aliens, and American media they call them aliens, because like it is dehumanizing this terminology, immigrants. Because I think that they must be, yeah. Let's watch another video. Deutsche Welle. You can see Deutsche Welle call them undocumented immigrants. This channel call them or illegal, undocumented or illegal. This channel call them illegal aliens, something like that. It is probably usually American media call them like this. Okay, anyway, there was Deutsche Welle. It was before Deutsche Welle. I like this channel. This channel helping me to understand better Germany and Europe generally. Oh, Frankie, see little Frankie, no way. Let's take Frankie. Frankie, where are you? Go to me. Go to me. What's going on? 1 second. Oh my god. Look at him. He's telling hello to everyone. Oof. Okay, let's Frankie watch a little bit about what Deutsche Welle tell us about this story. Oops. Oh my god, my headset. I was a little bit upset at the beginning when I was not able to watch UFO with you live. Oh, that, yeah. That is amazing. You did this today. Yeah. That is amazing.
They work on farms, help clean people's homes, or look after the elderly. Often they do so without papers, on the fringes of society. But now undocumented migrants in Spain are about to get some help. The government is moving to grant hundreds of thousands of them residency. One of them is Yahuba Diaby. He's 28 and was born in Senegal.
My dream is to get a residence permit. If you leave your home to build a better life but aren't allowed to work, how are you supposed to build a new life?
3 years ago, Yahuba got on a boat transporting refugees to Spain. Today, he lives in Cordoba. He shares his apartment with other migrants. At first, he says he requested asylum, but then, fearing rejection, he applied for a permit based on social integration. But as long as the decision is pending, he remains undocumented.
He's Oracle, Aleks, and he's so cute. He's extremely cute. Frankie is adorable, extremely adorable. Yeah, Frankie. That is about you.
That's what Spain's social democratic government is looking to change.
We want to legalize the status of thousands of people from abroad living in our country.
It's a one-time opportunity, valid between April and June this year. To be eligible, applicants must have lived in Spain at least 5 months and have no criminal record. About 500,000 migrants, including Yahuba, meet the conditions. When he was still seeking asylum, he was allowed to work. He was a cleaner at this food court. Today, he's visiting former colleagues. He's been anxiously waiting for a residency permit for months. Everyone here is happy the one-off push for legalization gives him a better chance to start a new life.
If they turn me down, I still have this option left. Besides, this should go faster. Then I won't have to wait another 6 or 7 months before I'm allowed to work.
But polls indicate over half of Spanish citizens reject the migrant legalization initiative.
This could become a problem for Spain and for all of Europe. It might trigger a wave of refugees if gangs spread the news that you can get a residency permit in Spain quickly and use it to travel all through Europe.
I don't think it will be a major draw. We all emigrated too, to Germany, to find work.
They're just coming here to cash in on social benefits once they've gotten their papers, and many Spaniards are left empty-handed.
Yahuba's boss has
people sometimes forget that second and third generations, they usually adopt into the culture, and they're starting to study. I mean, children study in language at schools, Spanish schools. Of course, not everyone, let's be honest. Many have problems because of financial difficulties in family, but in Europe they have a lot of that's what I'm assuming, because that's how they usually have in Russia, like Russian language courses. Sometimes they can be free. In America, here you can find a lot of cheap English courses that can provide you some churches and some organizations. And in many European countries, it is the same way. What can I say? I believe that I'm glad for this guy. That's true.
no patience for this kind of xenophobia. Paco Mulero is in urgent need of staff and hopes his former employee will be able to return to work soon. Still, he recommends examining each case individually.
Yeah, that is true.
We should prioritize giving industrious people the right to stay. It shouldn't go to people who don't want to work and don't pay taxes in our country.
But most undocumented migrants do want to work. They'll rise early in the morning, like here in Almeria, in the hopes of being selected as a day laborer. Many are exploited for cheap labor, not just in the farming sector. Work and residency permits would help, says Luis Angeliero Recio, an economist at the University of Seville. Benefiting the state, too. Spain's economy is booming, not least thanks to immigration.
Soon, wait staff in Spain will only consist of migrants. The same will go for elder care. Nobody else is willing to do it. Why? It's simple. Our educational level has risen drastically. So other people have to do these tasks.
Immigrants like Yahuba. He's visiting a social organization for assistance. Estefania Utanda is a social worker. To her, human beings are top priority, above any political or economic concerns.
We accompany people during this vulnerable time. We respect their rights and dignity. That's why we say people should never be without official papers.
Yahuba has been fighting for his place in society. He's keeping healthy, refuses to be a burden to the state. He hopes he can soon work in accounting, having studied it in Senegal. He speaks fluent Spanish and says he feels integrated.
People here in Cordoba make me feel right at home.
But Yahuba finally wants things to be settled, and the government's legalization initiative has given him hope for just that.
Yeah. He knows Spanish. That is amazing. That is helping him to be like part of society. That is extremely amazing. What can I say? And plus, additionally, he will be able to live there fully his life without, like, yeah, like, because, for example, recently I went to the cinema here in Houston, and I think that without knowledge of English, for me, it would be impossible. Actually, I want to go to the cinema again in future and to watch some American movies. Welcome, welcome to my paradise. Yes, I want to watch another video. Why nobody's talking about this? I think everyone is talking about this. Look at this, how many videos. And leaders keep chilling, worrying about the fall of Europe. Okay, a lot of countries they don't like this. I want to watch maybe bigger video. Maybe, you know, there's some settings you can find, like 10-20 minutes, over 20 minutes video maybe. GBN News, it will be disaster. Yeah, I want to find the right video for watching this. Because why I'm watching not one video, because I believe that for understanding topic better and to understand not just topic better, but also like to find different ideas and perspectives of this topic, I believe that it is necessary to watch at least few videos in order to be more familiar what people and different resources speak about. Obviously, that will help me to understand better why some people are against of this issue and why some people for this issue, like legalization. That is interesting by itself.
Al Jazeera Podcasts.
Today, Spain's left turn on immigration.
Spain's government has announced it will grant legal status to hundreds of thousands of undocumented migrants and asylum seekers.
As Europe continues to crack down on migrants, Spain is creating a new path to legal status. How and why is Spain going against the grain? I'm Kevin Hurton, and this is The Take. Hi. So before we continue with today's show, remember to leave us a comment telling us what you think about this episode and what stories you'd like to see us do next. Or if you're on your favorite podcast app, leave us a review telling us where you're listening from and maybe give us a 5-star rating while you're there. It does help the show.
My name is Marcos Bartolome. I'm an audio producer with The Take. You're catching me in Barcelona today, where I live.
Okay. Well, Marcos, welcome to The Take. Now, Marcos, our regular listeners will probably recognize your name, but you are not only one of our fantastic producers, you are also the journalist I always call when there is news about Spain, and specifically when there's news about European immigration. So this is great because now our viewers get to share in this dialogue that we usually have behind the scenes. So this is very exciting. Okay, so now to the news. On Tuesday, January 27th, Spain's migration minister, El Masais, announced that the government would grant legal residency and work permits to hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants.
Today,
1 second, I need to put Frankie down because he is already half sleeping. I need to put him somewhere, like he needs to to lay in chair without much troubles. Okay, let's go. Let's continue.
is a historic day for our country. We're reinforcing a migration model based on human rights and integration and coexistence and compatible with economic growth and social cohesion.
Now, we'll talk about the significance of this in just a moment, but first, just walk us through the mechanics of it. How is this going to work going forward?
I think the workings of it are pretty straightforward. Spain is going to open a 2-month window between April 2026 and June 2026. It is expected for all undocumented migrants who are currently in the country to regularize their situation. And what do they have to prove in order for them to be regularized? It's pretty simple. They have to prove that they arrived to Spain prior to December 31st, 2025, and they have to prove that they've been here for more than 5 months, provided they do not have a criminal record. Can they do that? They can do that with either a public document, a private document, or a mix of both. So, for instance, an utility bill will work, certificate that you're registered in a particular city or town works too. Also, if you've ever been to the doctor, you had a doctor appointment, you have a medical record, that works too. So it's pretty open, and people are saying that that is good news for the migrants who seek to regularize their situation.
Okay, so it sounds like this is a chance for people who have been living in the shadows to come out into the open, declare themselves, and get a path towards residency. The Spanish government does not officially track the number of undocumented immigrants, but estimates are putting it between 500,000 and 800,000. That's pretty significant. I mean, that's 1% of the population. Can you tell us about who these people are and the role that they play in Spanish society?
If we are talking about their makeup, where they're coming from, it is estimated that 80 to 90% of them are from Latin American countries. The rest of them, it's a mix. Some of them might be from North Africa, countries like Morocco, Algeria. We have a big influx of people coming from those countries. And then also the Sahel, and also in West Africa, the political and the economic situation there is driving people to Spain, be it through legal means, be it through the sea, through the Mediterranean, or to the Canary Islands, which is a Spanish archipelago of the Moroccan coast.
What type of jobs do the majority of undocumented immigrants do?
Well, I would say the works that people who do have legal status in Spain do not want to perform. Seasonal workers, people who are doing deliveries, domestic workers. That is the informal economy. Spain has a fairly big informal economy, and undocumented migrants are performing important labor when it comes to that. You know, it's absolutely necessary for the state of Spain to continue functioning, for the economy of Spain. And that was shown particularly in 2020, when all of what is happening now started to be discussed, because that was the time when a very big lockdown was enforced in Spain. And the people who were working in the informal economy couldn't afford to stop, right? The Spanish government was releasing and putting together measures for people to be able to actually stay at home. But those who do not have a formal work contract couldn't do that back in 2020. So that's when all of this issue of regularizing migrants started to be discussed.
So how hard is it for undocumented people to live day to day? I mean, how could this program improve their lives?
I cannot speak in their name, obviously, but my guess is that this is very, very important for them. For instance, if you are an undocumented migrant or you're stopped by the police in Spain, and Spain is a country that is notorious for its racial profiling of specifically black males and North African males, you can walk around in the street now without fear of being stopped by the police and then being taken to one of the different centers that Spain has for migrants that are undocumented, and later wait to be deported to your home country. And also, maybe you can go visit your family. Imagine 80-90% of them are from Latin America. You can now safely go visit your family without fear of not being able to come back. So it's major news. Now you can obviously work legally. That will give them access to jobs that are better paid. So that's one of the ways in which people will benefit from this.
Marcos, this move didn't happen by accident, and it certainly didn't come from politicians suddenly choosing benevolence. It's the result of a concerted grassroots effort that forced the government to pay attention. This is really change that comes from the bottom up. So with that in mind, tell us about Regularización Ya and how this coalition was able to activate this government to action.
It all started in 2020. It's an umbrella organization of more than 100 smaller organizations, and it's hard to overstate how big it is in terms of the ideological scope, because you might have the Soviet of Getafe, which is a suburb of Madrid, involved, but also you have the bishops involved, the church, the Catholic Church involved. So it's very, very broad. And this is like the whole sort of goal in the beginning when it was created was to bring to the Spanish Congress a popular initiative. That's when you gather a certain number of signatures. In this case, it was...
I see now that compared to previous videos that we saw, this video has more details, especially if we are talking about history of what was going on in Spain. And there were some movements, like he said, from bottom. And these movements, they were about protecting like human rights, and that does make sense now.
700,000 signatures, which is a huge number if you consider that there is only a bit more than 40 million adults in Spain at the moment. So that was a huge collective effort. People were gathering these signatures for months and months. You would even go to the theater or to the cinema or to a nightclub, and at the entrance there would be a stand with people gathering signatures. So this was a very, very collective effort. And then in 2024, it made it to Congress finally. And what happened then was that most of the Spanish parties said yes for this to be debated. Even the Popular Party, which is our main right-wing party, said yes. Not the far-right party, Vox, but there was a big consensus around it. So eventually what happened is that this stalled in Congress. It didn't go to the very last step. So what the government is doing now is passing this through what we call a royal decree, which is the Spanish equivalent to an executive order.
Wow, okay. So it was pushed into the Congress.
It's important to say that this video was made 3 months ago, and obviously right now this order already is passed, because you can see this video by Al Jazeera channel media, and obviously yes, that's what I wanted to say. And they're saying like, no wonder housing is getting so expensive and unreachable. Unreachable and expensive housing becoming because of tourists too. That is maybe the main reason, because Spain is popular place for tourism, and they had even protests one time because of tourists. And tourists don't give you, I mean, they're giving money to the economy, but they don't give labor like immigrants. Labor job they're giving a lot.
It's through the will of the people, but then the Congress stopped it, and now the government is trying to find a way past Congress by putting through a royal decree, which is like an executive order. But doing it that way is not without controversy, right?
Oh, this whole thing, this whole regularization is not happening without controversy for sure. We already have the far-right party, Vox, saying that they are going to take this to the courts. they're saying there is a lot of people talking about the pull factor, quote unquote, and how this is going to bring more people in. There is a lot of people. Well, you have the right party, the Popular Party, as it's called, saying that this is a smokescreen to basically hide responsibilities after last week 45 people died in a train crash in the high speed
Yeah, I remember this news. I was watching some one of the European house called media. I noticed for myself that my habits, despite that I left, I'm not living in Russia anymore, like my habit to watch some of European news still left. Yeah, that is crazy.
Going from Andalusia to Madrid. And then there is also talk about how the Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, is doing this just to get more people to vote for him in 2027.
Wow.
That is a I could say, a blatant case of fake news, because these migrants only get a year visa, and then they would have to turn that into a regular work visa, and then the path to nationality, if they are Latin American, is 2 years. If they are from Morocco, for instance, or from the Sahel or from West Africa, it can be up to 10 years. So there is no way in which they would be able to vote in 2027 for Pedro Sanchez. That provided they wanted to vote for him, obviously.
Echoes of the white replacement
Yeah.
theory.
A lot of people were talking about that they will have a right to vote, and it is the major issue. That's why they decided to give them these documents. But it's not always working like this. This delay in receiving documents is all of these bureaucracy working like this, and plus, like it doesn't work so fast. Okay.
Indeed.
Rhetoric that you hear elsewhere. More with Marcos after this break. Okay, so Marcos, let's put what's happening in Spain into context, because it does seem to be bucking a trend here. In the United States, we've all watched this really violent crackdown in the name of immigration. Many European countries, including the UK, are restricting their immigration laws. Right-wing politicians are using this issue to great effect. We've seen this. So this is the question I keep coming back to. What is different about Spain? Is there something about the nature of the politics or the population that allows it to go one way where all of its peers in Europe are going the other?
One moment. Of course, we already know that Spain is opposing themselves to America. Governments and population generally do not like America. That is like one of the things. And plus, additionally, I think that before in one of the videos, they said that they're trying to oppose Israel, But it will be interesting to find out what he will tell.
Saying is so right. It's hard to overstate the extent to which this is back in a trend. We are seeing the horrific images coming out of Minnesota, from the US in general, everything, the sweeping campaign of deportations that ICE is carrying out. Within Europe, we see how Italy is trying to deport people to Albania. We see how Greece is starting to give prison terms to migrants who do not leave after they are not granted status. We see how in the UK, the rules for refugee status are harder and harder. It's been argued that Spain is not necessarily a country that is more welcoming to people from abroad. So I would warn against thinking that Spain is an exception in a sea of anti-migrant sentiment. I don't think that's the way it is.
Okay. We talked about the benefits for the individual migrants, but there are benefits for the country too, to have this normalization, to know who's been living in their country. Can you talk about what the state stands to gain? And besides, this happens a lot. not only in Spain but all over Europe, or at least it used to.
Listen, Kevin, Spain is one of the oldest countries in the world. Like the average age is growing and growing. Right now it's in the 40s, but it's gonna get worse. And it's also one of the countries with the lowest fertility rates. It doesn't reach the 2 children per woman goal for the population number to remain stable. If we were not to talk about human rights and how these people deserve dignity and human rights, if we were just going to take a very economy heavy approach, Spain does need these people for the pension system to work, for the economy to work, and it's also something that has been time and again proved that migrants across Europe, but in Spain too, are giving more in taxes that they're getting back from the welfare state. So again, there is a lot of talk about how these people come to Spain to take advantage of the system, of the welfare system, but that's just simply not the case.
You know, it's interesting. You said that about 80%.
Interesting that some people were talking opposite. Yeah, I like this apple. But yes, some people definitely were talking a little bit different situation, explaining this. But he's giving us information that migrants, they're working and they will pay taxes, and they will be legalized in Spain. It will benefit for economy of Spain, and yeah, that is amazing.
Percent to 90% of migrants are from Latin America. I wonder if that really does cut against the stereotype that most of the migrants are from Africa, especially what you see from the right. Do you think that distinction plays a role here? Is there a hierarchy of discrimination in Spain where maybe Spanish-speaking migrants are viewed slightly more favorably, and thus a project like this might be more politically palatable?
Yeah. As you just put it, I think the term hierarchy of discrimination sums it up very well. We have the president of the region, of the Madrid region, say, she said this last year in 2025, she said that Latin Americans are not really migrants because they speak the same language, they have Christianity as their religion,
wow.
And they integrate. That is, on the one hand, racist towards people who might have an Islamic faith, or people who might be, you know, from North Africa or from the rest.
That is completely new view for me, because if people speak Spanish and they go to ask asylum in Mexico, they have a pathway, legal pathway, to legalize themselves in Mexico faster, much faster than if it is not, if they do not know Spanish. That is true for Mexico, that I know for sure, and people are receiving faster documents in Mexico when they ask an asylum in Mexico. Why I know this? Because I have my twin brother, and he lives right now in Mexico, and he asked asylum in Mexico, and I have amazing news, I should say breaking news, that my brother, my twin brother, he asked asylum in Mexico and he won his asylum case. I think it is amazing news, considering what is going on now around the world, and the main idea that he's not in Russia right now. That is like amazing. But what can I say, that for him in Mexico, in order to become a Mexican citizen, there are a lot of obstacles, because he's not from Spanish-speaking country, and for him it would take like much longer, let's say like this. And by much longer I will tell you like 4 years, like it would take like many years longer to become Mexican citizen, to receive Mexican passport. People, those, now I know, those people who are asking like asylum or documents, like if they like in Spain, if they know Spanish, for them it is also easier to receive documents. And I didn't know this, I had no clue. Now it is like mind-opening. Yes. And thank you, Oracle, thank you so much. You said that this report is very informative, and I'm so happy for you both. Thank you a lot. I'm glad too, actually, because I'm not in Russia. I have documents here in America. My twin brother, he's not in Russia too, and he has documents in Mexico right now. Of course, he has difficult financial situation, but that's why you can support me and my twin brother in this situation. And by the way, you can leave your likes, you can leave your comments below, you can ask questions, and you can find my Amazon wish list. And on this note, Amazon wish list link somewhere in description, I think. And yes, on this note, I want to continue watching this video. Let's go.
Of Africa, but on the other hand, it completely overlooks the fact that Spain is no longer this monolithic Catholic white society. It's a diverse, multi-ethnic, multi-religious society, and they are trying to talk about a Spain that no longer exists, in my view.
So, Marcos, aren't we also grading Spain on a bit of a curve, right? Because up until recently, these normalizations have been fairly common in Europe and in Spain. In fact, Spain's right-wing Popular Party, which is currently up in arms over this move, was behind 2 of these when it was in power. So perhaps this story and the reaction to it is actually more useful as a measure of just how dominant this rightward drift on immigration has become, even there in Spain. I mean, Spain is progressive on immigration when it comes to Europe, but does that make it progressive when it comes to immigration?
Spain is not progressive when it comes to migration. As you were saying, regularizations have been a staple of European policy until recently. We've had upwards of 40 regularizations from the 19th onwards in Europe. In Spain, we've had 6. 2 of them were carried out by the Popular Party in the years 2000 and 2001. The 4 that happened after that were carried out by the Socialist Party, the current center-left party. But then Italy did a regularization in 2020 and Portugal in 2021. That was the pandemic years. And then to respond to the other half of your question, I think it's very important that we keep in mind that Elma Sainz, the migration minister, said that this was an exceptional thing. We shouldn't view this as anything other than the exception that confirms the rule. And the rule is that Spain is outsourcing its migration enforcement to southern countries, and we've done an episode about this together, right, Kevin?
Yes.
Spain does have boots on the ground in Mauritania. Spain is contributing with vehicles for dams of migrants in the Sahara Desert. In Mali, where there is an open conflict happening, Spain is paying a lot of money to Morocco for Morocco to perform this labor, this work of containing the migrants within the African continent, so they do not cross the Strait of Gibraltar towards Spain. And we were talking about these detention centers
that is interesting thing that Spain is giving money to Morocco to prevent migrants to go to Spain. I just wanted to point this out if like you skip this somehow, and maybe to pay for this attention, because that is something that I didn't know, and I didn't know that there are like open conflicts in Mali, and they have, how he said, boots on the ground. Again, I didn't know about this either, and it is interesting thing, like in the previous video that we saw together, there was information about one guy said his opinion that he's thinking that many European countries and Western countries, they take in resources from some African countries, like from other countries, let's say like this, and as a result they're not providing people opportunity to give them documentations when they're asking asylum, when they're fleeing from these countries, because it looks like it's not my opinion, like I don't know a lot of things, I'm just trying to understand this, but it looks like in many resources you can find that many Western countries, Western people from Western countries, they're admitting the fact that they're taking resources from other countries. Yes, that's what I wanted to point out, that I didn't know that Spain is basically, they have some kind of international agreement with some countries. I believe he mentioned Morocco, but I believe there must be not only Morocco, because it usually doesn't work like with one. Yeah, they're like cooperation of some countries. Yeah, and to prevent them to go to Spain. Okay, that is interesting.
Spain does have within its territory, within its own territory, where we do not really know what is happening. There is allegations of torture, there is allegations of ill treatment. At the same time, we were also talking before about the racial profiling. So we shouldn't be saying that that this is a change of a trend, but rather an exception that confirms a trend.
Wow, very well said. So yeah, for you who cover this issue so closely, it must be a little bit jarring to see these headlines championing Spain as this sort of model of progressivism on this issue.
Don't get me wrong, I'm very, very happy that this is happening. And on Tuesday, I was thrilled when I saw, at the entrance of the Spanish Congress, all of these people celebrating. And it is very easy. We're seeing a lot of accounts on TV and in the media in general, because there's just so much people, even if we don't know the number. But I think I am trying not to be cynical about this. I am very happy that this is finally happening to so many people around me. And I just want for this, if it were to be possible, to be escalated, right? For this to be escalated to other countries, and just like for the situation to improve in general when it comes to conversations around migration.
Yeah, and things change, issues change. An issue that's potent now might not be as potent in 5 years, it might be different. So let's end on that sentiment, because it is worth saying that this move is going to make the lives of hundreds of thousands of people better. But it's not really a fundamental change. As we speak, opponents are vowing to fight this every step of the way. Politicians seem to be well aware of the headwinds, the potency of this issue at the moment. But what's cool about this case is that the people clearly felt differently. Do you see this as a triumph of small d democracy over big D democracy? And could something like this scale beyond Spain, possibly, if Europe ever does decide to do a course correction on this issue?
Beyond Spain, I of course this guy will tell his opinion, but I'm very skeptical nowadays with everything what is going on with Europe, like with Germany, with UK and other countries, because they're kind of examples for small other countries. And again, he said before that immigration inside of Europe is more acceptable. For example, I know that, and I think that you know too, this situation, what happened with Ukrainians when war started between Russia and Ukraine. A lot of Ukrainians, they were seeking refugee in Germany, in Poland, in many European countries, but Germany and Poland were, and France, they were the biggest one. Poland accepted more, like the biggest amount of Ukrainians as a refugee, and it was extremely acceptable by these countries, because the Ukrainians, they historically, their neighbors, and they're Europeans, like same as Russians, they're Europeans, but they kind of Slavic country, and in many ways maybe that's why they were more acceptable. But nowadays you can find this tiresome of these because some countries, they starting to close programs for Ukrainians, those programs that were providing people to I would say to live longer in and legally in their countries. And especially it is when we are talking about that not every Ukrainian are ready to apply for asylum status, and they were using some programs, but they were not applying for asylum status, and usually this status is the best one if you are wanting to stay in this country forever, let's say like this, and to live here completely, and it is like the most serious step in many ways, yeah, because this status preventing you from deportation in many countries. But yeah, why I'm telling this, because I just went another long path, but what I'm telling about that, yeah, immigration inside of European Union was always historically more acceptable. It was always like this. Like immigration in African countries inside was always, it's like going on. If we do not know history of their immigration, it doesn't mean that it was not happening there. It was always happening in Middle East. They have own melting pot. In Asian countries they have own melting pot, and European countries like European Union, they have own melting pot, and it was always there, part of their system. Yeah, Frankie, on this way he's sleeping with such amazing conversation. And okay, let's finish this video and let's look something. Oh my god, something else. Yep. Of course.
Mark, finally, grab a drink.
Yeah. One sec.
I think for Europe to course correct, things would have to change significantly from the trend we are on right now. I do think this is a triumph of small d democracy. When the whole popular initiative stalled in Congress, I felt very disenfranchised politically, even because it had taken the efforts of so many people organizing to take it to that point. But now seeing that being once again taken by the government, even if it's through a different means, I think that is a continuation of the popular initiative, because that pressure was there and wasn't going away even if the initiative stalled in Congress. So I think everyone is very aware that it was the will of the people and the organizing of so many people that made this possible.
Yeah. It does seem like it's a conflict that's baked into the democracy. The politicians are worried about winning elections, and immigration's an important issue. It wins you elections by being against immigration. But the people here wanted good policy, and they want something that makes the state run better. And in this case, in this small case, it seems like that side won.
Yeah, indeed.
Marcos, thank you for coming on The Take today.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. Anytime.
Okay, that was interesting. That was actually, like you said before, very informative video, and not every video like this so informative, and not every video is so sometimes people trying to be objective, but sometimes they're trying to push forward their agenda and their way of viewing things and their desire to represent some picture that they want to represent. And as a result, picture can be a little bit not twisted, but a little bit changed. And I believe that it's always important to watch few videos in order, even more than few, in order to understand a little bit better situation, especially when topic is interesting by itself. And these different ideas, they are helping you to become better in with this topic and to understand what is going on, because I see the tendency of like in some countries they have different tendencies, and this completely different story from what is going on in America. And that's why for me this story in Spain is specifically interesting, because it is different from what I saw or what I see last years in America. Okay, and not only in America, in many European countries too. I will try to find a video that will be like new by date. It will be like short playlist videos upload this week, let's say like this. And also, oh, Aleks Live, it is me. Wow, amazing. Can you see me? That is me. Wow, magic. And also like something that would be relatively not extremely long, but I don't know. Oh, no more results. That's all. Why there's some little results? The hidden truth. I will see if this video is watchable. Let's check. Never heard about this channel before, but let's.
Pour commencer, gardons ce chiffre en tête. Bon, plongeons directement dans le vif du sujet. Le système migratoire européen.
I don't understand this language. It looks like it is French. But can you hear this?
C'est un véritable casse-tête, n'est-ce pas? On entend tout et son contraire. L'idée de ce décryptage, c'est vraiment de faire le tri. D'un côté, on a des pays qui ont un besoin vital de bras pour faire tourner leur économie.
I was just playing just to listen a little bit French because I have no clue what he's talking about. And by the way, thank you for your kind comment. I'm still improving my ability to speak, and thank you anyway for your message. You express yourself so well. I think you would make a good professor. I'm far from professor, my knowledge limited, extremely limited, but thank you a lot for your kind words. Yes, majority of these, let's look like this month. That would probably better. A warning for the UK.
If you want to understand how things...
For the UK, because why it is a warning for the UK? That is an interesting question, because when we are talking about UK, they have completely different policies, you know? Or do they have the same policy? Anyway, what kind of policy they have, I hope we will find out. People say we are betrayed on all sides. The government should support stay-at-home mothers and help them escape from the two-income trap. If the governments don't support young families economically and keep importing workforce from the third world countries, we will keep discussing the same problem. That means that some people do not like what is going on in Spain, but it is their country. They have right to do what they want to do. It is their right to do stuff. And people say, you are right. I'm Spanish guy, and this is a population replacement also across Europe. That is another story, another angle for the same question, because about replacement of population I've heard many times, and I've heard about this issue even decades ago, and I think that it looks like some people see in the movements of Spain this, it is like first step of realization, and it is like many people believe that replacement of population is inevitable, and majority of Europe, or all Europe, eventually will become Muslim. Why I'm saying so? Because like I saw many resources talking about this, and yes, many Russian experts, they were talking that Europe will become Muslim country, like not country but union. And yeah, reason of this, of course, birth rate. You can see how fast growing up population of Muslim countries, and yeah, how slow or bad, terrible birth rate in Europe. And yeah, let's see this. But again, before starting to watch this video, I'm recommending you to leave your likes. Yes, that would be amazing. You can leave your comments below. That is amazing too. Also, you can find my Amazon wish list. I have there so many stuff and amazing stuff. In future, I hope to do some microscope live streams and to watch with you cells. Of course, if I will have my microscope. But yes, you can support me there on Amazon wishlist, but your comments, they're absolutely free. Okay, let's watch this one. It will be longer than I was expecting this video, but topic by itself is extremely interesting. That's why I'm happy. 1 second.
Hi, my name is Tom and this is my channel Integral Views. Spain, I love you, but what are you doing? Making over 500,000 illegal migrants legal in one go, setting up a scenario for the future invasion of the European mainland to continue at a time when many other European nations are trying to get a handle on the situation. And let's face it, the data is in from places like Denmark, Germany, Sweden, Italy, you name it. A lot of the young men coming into Europe from the Middle East and Africa commit crimes an order of magnitude more frequently.
Here you can see completely different mindset. You can see completely different message. And of course, agenda here is completely different too. But again, my goal here is to understand, not to judge, not to criticize somebody or something. My goal is to try to do this analytical thinking and without this emotional outburst, without this emotional involvement. Yes, it is difficult sometimes to be not involve yourself into topic, but that's what I want to do. And in case if you disagree with something what people telling, just tell this in comments. Why do you disagree? And if you agree with something, please also tell about your opinion, because I want to be objective and I want to give you opportunity to express your opinion as you want.
Than native-born Europeans. So seriously, Spain, what are you playing at? Anyway, let's get a better understanding of this situation. Let's start with Spain's current government. So Spain is currently governed by a left-wing coalition. It is the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, and they have 121 seats. And then it's the far left party, Sumar, and they have 31 seats. So together, in a coalition, they are currently governing Spain.
It's a family crisis that's unfolding in real time.
I'm sorry, 1 second.
But the bigger of the two, the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, is led by a man called, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Now, the United Kingdom equivalent of Pedro Sanchez is Keir Starmer. And then the far left element of this left-wing Spanish government coalition is the Sumar Party. And so they are founded and headed by Yolanda Diaz, uniting multiple progressive parties to promote social equality, labour rights and feminist values. So that's the equivalent of the Green Party in the United Kingdom. Now here's a photo of Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and Yolanda Diaz. So this is the coalition. Look at them. I mean, oh God, I don't like it. So for my UK viewers, this is what could await us if some kind of coalition of the left gets into power. So Labour and the Green Party. That's basically what's happening in Spain right now. But the situation in Spain is really quite different to the United Kingdom, as you'll see throughout the rest of this video. But importantly, there are a lot of people who are from Latin America who are working in Spain illegally. So they're in Spain illegally. A lot of migration from Latin America, kind of similar culture, similar language, and that's very different to the United Kingdom. Now, a lot of NGOs and charities and businesses have been campaigning for the regularization of those illegal workers so that they can become legal and then pay tax, etc. And this is really a common argument on the left. It is, look, these people are here, they're working illegally already in the kind of black market, labor market, right? So let's just make them legal and we'll tax their work and everything will be fine. Of course, it's very, very naive indeed. So Spain has regularized over 500,000 illegal migrants recently, but it didn't just happen in one go. This was a gradual legal process, and people in the UK, of course, you know how this feels. It's so similar. We see the same playbook, Fabian society, all of the kind of legal systems being used. In any case, what happened was that coalition, right, that left-wing coalition in Spain, they got right to work. So in 2024, they took power in 2023, and then in 2024,
the coalition government published a royal decree in 2024 and then amendments again via royal decree in 2026. Okay.
They started these sort of initiatives, right? There's this royal decree 1155 in 2024, and then a royal decree 316 in 2026. So basically, they started the process. Now, their intended mission, their intended goal was to regularize these illegal migrants in Spain, as I said, so that they could basically tax them and then they could become part of the official workforce and move out of the black market. Before we go further, Spain has a very aging population, so that was another argument that was always put forward, and we see this all the time. Oh look, we've got an aging population, we have low birth rates, we need to bring in loads and loads and loads of people. So we've heard this argument many times, but those are the same arguments being made in Spain. In order to understand this, I want to go through some sort of quick facts with regard to Spain so we can understand the general situation that they're in, because it's really interesting. So Spain has one of the lowest birth rates in Europe, 1.12 right per woman in Spain. That's the fertility.
In Russia, I think that it is low too, and oh my God, it's not funny, of course, but I saw one like one woman after, like, she had in Russia, she's living in Russia and she's pregnant, and she was talking about how doctors, they were cheering everyone. We are so happy that you're pregnant. All these moms, future moms, and they're like, what's the deal? Why are you so happy that I'm pregnant? I'm like, it's ordinary thing. But then she saw statistics why they're so happy in hospital, that doctors cheering them, like, oh, like giving them encouragements. When she saw statistics of birth rates in Russia, she's like, oh my God, now I understand why this woman said. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, when he said about birth rates and aging population, I'm like, immediately was thinking about, because I'm trying to look what is going on in Russia, and I'm trying to understand all this situation, like, because Russia is decline, and in this war they're killing the majority of people from, I would say, minorities by nationalities, if we will say, if we can say like this. But it is what is going on there. It is a matter of fact. It's not like, yeah, I created this. You can find many videos that majority of people who are drafting in Russia, it is like from regions of minor nationalities. Yeah, in Russia. Anyway, that is true, and you can, yeah, that is true. Okay, let's go to talk about Spain. And yeah, as a lot of people believe that in Russia is going on also some kind of replacement of population. And because, why do you think so? Like, despite that in Russia so many people were killed, still a lot of migrants going to Russia. And these migrants in one city, what has happened, I don't know, do you know this or not, but they have these migrants from some African countries, and people were, for Russia doesn't have like Oops. 1 second. 1 second. I need to say. I have my calls. Yes, sorry, I was distracted. Anyway, a lot of people believe that in Russia is going on this replacement of population, and in Russia you will not find so big amount of people of color, they call them, yeah. And because in Russia, like you can find in my region specifically a lot of immigrants, not immigrants, like Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese, but like that's all. But I'm from a specifically interesting region, Primorsky Krai. But yeah, otherwise it's kind of like white population there. And they believe that they starting to do these experiments in Russia for replacement population. Again, you can find many articles, many YouTube videos. At least I was watching them in Russian language, and this kind of coalition you can find even like of minorities. I don't remember how it is called. They're speaking in Russian and English, and they're representing these minor nationalities like Buryat, like Tatars, and etc. They're talking about this too. Anyway, enough about Russia. We will maybe return at some point if there will be reason, but let's go to listen his perspective about Spain again.
Rate in Spain, extremely low. To put this in context, I want to show you this data. So what this shows, January to February 2025, live births 51,000, deaths 97,000. So in that 2-month period, 46,000 people net negative lost, right, from the population.
Interesting situation. That is going on in Russia too. Can you imagine? Because war is going already 5th year ahead. I mean, 5th year, like, and war is going on. But if you will look on population statistic in Russia, despite that, how many people moved from Russia to European Union? A lot of Russians, they moved to European Union, and some of them you can find a little bit to United States of America, not as much as to European Union. Yes, and still population still kind of the same level. And again, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to speculate because I don't have all information, cards, whatever. I'm just telling that what like some people believe in.
As it is excluding migration. And then in 2026, a similar amount, so 45,000, like every 2 months losing that many people just on the births and deaths, just due to the low fertility rate. Now that fertility rate's a lot lower than it is in the United Kingdom, but yeah, so not good, crazy, right? And in Spain, somewhere between 18% and 20% of the population are foreign born. Now, here's just a quick graphic of where those people are actually from, you know, from a high level. And it's really quite different to the United Kingdom, right? Now, the thing is, though, that 20% foreign-born percentage is up from 4% in the year 2002, so a massive change. And we're seeing this huge change right the way across Europe, and it's just so weird that a lot of politicians are acting like this is all normal and the problems that we're seeing have got nothing to do with it. Now I'll just show you the demographics of Spain. You can have a look, pause it if you want, and just have a look at that. So again, it's really quite different to the United Kingdom. A lot of people from Latin America, okay? And like what I'm thinking about that is people from Latin America, you can understand, you know, they come over, it's a kind of similar culture, similar language, and then assimilation and integration into the society will be a lot easier, right? So it's a different situation overall. But then in Spain, there's also a large Moroccan population as well. Now for this next bit, bear in mind that Spain's population is 47.3 million people, okay? This next bit is pretty wild, pretty crazy. Okay, this is migration figures. So we've got total immigration. We've got 2021 all the way down to 2024 there. Now let's just have a look, focus in on 2024, the last data point. Nearly 1.3 million people came into Spain. That's not net migration, that's just total number of people who came into Spain. 1.3 million against a population of 47.3 million. That is a huge number. That is basically 2.7% of the...
It is not immigration, he said. In this way, I will tell you, like, a lot of people go to Paris, or to, like, Paris. It is one of the most popular place for traveling, for tourism. And here I can say there are bigger numbers, much bigger numbers that Spain can offer. Only one city, Paris. But okay, let's listen him next, what he will tell next.
Entire population of Spain in 1 year, and that's happening multiple years in a row. But different to the United Kingdom, we're seeing Spanish people themselves leave the country and then come back in at kind of like a net zero, not that kind of net zero, but like a net zero kind of rate. So in the United Kingdom, we're seeing a lot of people, a lot of native Brits leave. We're setting new records basically every year for the number of Brits who are fleeing the country. In Spain, it's a bit different, but a lot of the people who are leaving are young, right? And a lot of the people who are older, a lot are coming back from Latin America and from other places, from across Europe. So it's not that straightforward, but again, different to the United Kingdom. Now, this next bit is really important context, okay? So this is the religious views of people in Spain.
Important for him, probably. I'm joking. But non-practicing Catholic, 41. Practicing Catholic, 20. Agnostic, non-believers, 20. Atheist, 13%. Okay.
So what you can see is non-practicing Catholic is a very large portion, 41%, nearly 42% Catholic, right? And then practicing Catholic is 20%. That's a huge amount of the population that is religious. They're practicing or not practicing, but they'll call themselves Catholic, right? So that's a shared religion. Then you go down and you got agnostic, right? Bear in mind, in the United Kingdom, the majority of people are atheist or agnostic, okay? That's the majority. Now you go down to atheist, and then you've got other denominations, 2.7%, just 2.7% that are not Catholic or atheist or agnostic. You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Islam.
Yeah.
Very different situation in Spain than it is in the United Kingdom. And what I want to say about this is that now Spain has this, I would say, very naive political situation, and they're starting to see the results of it. Now, if you look at the United Kingdom and you look at what's happening in Germany elsewhere, then you'll see your future. If you carry on down this track, you'll see what happens. Okay, so, but that's really interesting, isn't it? Because they have a lower population of Muslims there, and actually 2.7 is total all other denominations. So that will be Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, etc. That's really quite a kind of a cohesive belief system or culture across the country generally. Just want to point out quick that that's in 2020, okay? So things are obviously changing with the amount of immigration that's going on in Spain. That's as of 2020. Right, so what happened? Well, the left-wing Spanish government, as I've said, right, they basically decided to regularize or make legal 500,000 plus illegal migrants in Spain. Now, 500,000 is a guess because nobody knows how many illegal migrants are in Spain.
That is interesting, like, how it happened that they do not know how many migrants illegal they have. That's what I do not understand. I mean, it makes sense, and at the same time it doesn't make any sense, because you cannot see how many, if they're like migrants, if I'm understanding, to Spain, they were going by crossing by boats, you know, and obviously if they're like enormous amount of people, you would have estimation, not like exact number. And their estimation, if I am correct, from 500 to 800,000. But they don't know. That is crazy. That is crazy.
I've seen figures up to 800,000. Basically, nobody knows, okay? Now, potentially, like, it's predicted that 70% of those 500,000 plus, they're from Latin America. Around that, up or down, nobody really knows, again, right? Similar to the United Kingdom, nobody knows how many illegal migrants are here. Now, I think it's around 4 million, potentially. But, all right, in any case.
It's interesting, like, his opinion based on just his, like, random suggestion, you know, like beliefs or feeling, or it is based on some kind of research or something like kind of evidence of, you know, watching some reading articles, watching videos, and like of his research, and like because he's kind of got and started to understand better situation after maybe watching for the situation what is going on in Spain. I don't know, interesting. Based on what he has such number? 4 million, it is a lot. It is like 4 times at least and half more than 800,000.
In Spain, they regularized, or they're in the process, I think they have regularized 500,000 plus illegal migrants. But what has to happen, right, there are conditions. So let's get an understanding of it. They have to have been in Spain before the 1st of January 2026. They have to prove that they were there for 5 months of continuous stay prior to the 1st of January 2026. They have to have no criminal record in Spain or other countries that are known of, right? And then what happens is that they're granted this work visa. So it's a 1-year renewable work visa. But of course, the way that always works is here's your 1-year visa, and then it's renewable, and then you've got what we call in.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That they're not receiving immediately passport citizenship. That is how I was believing it would work. I didn't. Like I believe that to become Spanish citizen, it is extremely challenging. Still, it is not so easy. Even if you have like they have laws, they cannot become citizens like immediately, like after 2 years, and immediately to vote. It doesn't work like this in any European country. It doesn't work like this. It takes years and years, because it is bureaucracy. It is financially like you need to print paper here. You need to create, like, to do this, that, and people usually, I know the situation, even to print papers, it is expensive. I know this. To translate papers, documentations, everything is expensive. It doesn't matter where you're living. Here, for me to translate my diploma, 1 page in Houston was $100. In Spain, maybe it will be, of course, less, but still it is expensive. And it's everywhere like this. Spain is not exception.
Great Britain, ILR or permanent settled status, and then your citizens, and it's like this route, this pathway. Okay, the point that I really want to make is, let's think about the context across Europe. We clearly have a very, very serious and big problem with illegal migration, and even illegal migration to a very large extent. Now in Germany with Syrians, and then, you know, basically right the way across Europe, it's a massive, gigantic problem. And I think a lot of countries are waking up to it and seeing the struggle that's to come. Now, what Spain are doing is within the context of a large number of people from Latin America, so it's slightly different. So I think that that's really what they're trying to kind of get at. Of course, as I said, there's a lot of people from Morocco. You've got people coming into Spain illegally on boats, and we'll look at a couple of videos of that later. So that happens regularly, and I think they basically come in and then they go, right? They come into Spain as an entry point, and then they're free, off you go, right? Off into Europe, into France, into Germany, into the United Kingdom. And in a way, Spain is kind of this gateway, yeah? To be completely honest, Southern Europe, in my opinion, just failing in their duty to protect the mainland of Europe, because I don't think those countries generally, now I'm just ranting, but hear me out, I don't think those countries are incentivized really to care, because it's like, yeah, you can just go through this country. You want to go to Great Britain? No problem. Through you go. There are better economies. Off you go. So as long as you don't stay, we're cool. Now, that's just my general belief. Now, with regard to Spain...
I believe that his genuine belief, if it is like not based on anything, but I believe he's right in many ways, because it's not like they don't care sometimes in these countries. It's not like I'm like agree with him with everything. No, I just believe that in some countries they like it could happen like this. So like, well, you know, this warm climates, everything is like they live slow pace life, and they're like, okay, hello, bye, you can go. Something like that, you know. I can be wrong. I never was in Spain. I can be wrong completely, but I will not be surprised if it is like this. And yeah, Spain is a very unusual country, I will tell you. Really.
The incentive, that's what's really important. What are the second order effects of the policies that you're putting forward? Okay, so it was like a one-time thing. They went, okay, 500,000 plus, whoever's here, we don't know, right? Could be 1 million plus, right? Then all of a sudden you are regularized and right. But the second order effect is an incentive. This is what these left-wing governments don't seem to understand, is how incentives and disincentives work, how human behavior works in general.
But I'm not understanding, what is his suggestion? What government should do in this situation? Will he, as a Britain guy, give from his tax money to Spain in some kind of program, like money for, like, to decide this problem, like to prevent them to go to Britain? Will he give his from his salary, from his taxpayer like money, like to Spain, like for example, to deport everyone? What he is expecting to do? They're not sending them to detention center, and it is amazing, because like not everyone has like money like America to create like billions of dollars invest in detention centers, and it is not always right way to do. Anyway.
Right, so effectively you're incentivizing people because they think, well, maybe that will happen again, and oh, it's okay, it's the green light, look, they all got documents, and they see videos on social media, oh, they're all there at the embassy, right, like this one, yeah, oh, they're all there at the embassy just getting their documents, that's it, that's all I need to know, I'm off. Yeah, so you're setting up a situation where you're saying, here's the green light, here you come, here you go, you can come, and it's kind of normalizing it. That is the second order effect, and it's completely wrong, right? It's just It's just flat out the wrong thing to be doing. And so, of course, now we're seeing boatloads more of these people, these men, pretty much exclusively men. Weird that, isn't it? Pretty much exclusively men from the Middle East and from Africa coming into Spain on boats, right? Just coming in straight into the shore, right? Straight, here I am in Spain now, you know. It is wild, and just kind of, it really looks, a lot of imagery. It's just like an invasion, but it's very similar, right? It's very similar in many countries. Now, I say invasion, and I do mean invasion because there is a definition of invasion. Here it is. I know a lot of people go, oh, no, it's a military invasion. No, this is the definition of invasion from the Cambridge Dictionary. There have been 4 stabbings in Barcelona alone in the last 24 hours. 2 of those were fatal. Let's get an understanding of the context of that, right? So, the rate of fatal stabbings in London, right, which is relatively high, especially for Europe, the rate of fatal stabbings in London is 0.3 per day. Now, in Barcelona, it was 2 in one day in the last 24 hours, right? So 7 times higher than London, okay, 7 times higher. Now, that's really an outlier. That's crazy because Barcelona has 1/10 of the fatal stabbing rate than London does. Usually. So it's a 70 times higher rate for Barcelona in the last 24 hours than is the norm. Something's going on, right? Maybe there's a huge amount of men, right, of dangerous men that are coming into Spain, more than usual, right? Maybe. Now, I don't want to go through these reports because they're just so barbaric and so horrific, and I think it's just disgusting, right? But we do have to talk about this stuff to some extent. So I'm showing up an image here. Of course, it's the very unfortunately, it's what we see.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think he's promoting fear. That's what I feel too. I have the same feeling that he's demonizing like all immigrants because of one psychic, because of one person. He's demonizing like million of people, let's say, that all of them they're bad. That's what like you have. I mean, like I don't know, that sounds like this. He's creating this, trying to create this image of that all immigrants are terrible. That's what I feel right now.
Just all too often, all the time, it is an absolute disgrace, disgusting, and it's related to Islam, right? So the guy's calling Allah Akbar and doing this kind of stuff. We see the same thing right now. Spain, take notice. As I've already said, we already have the data on crimes from different countries, okay, and Morocco are quite high up there, especially in the Danish data, but this is not a video where I'm going to go through that data in great detail. I've done that in many other videos. So I'm just going to look. Now, Spain are terrible at collecting data, similar to the United Kingdom, right? Similar. So in Spain, for 2024, the conviction rate was 15.7 per 1,000 adults for foreign nationals, okay? So 15.7. Now, for Spanish nationals, it was 6.2, okay? So significantly more. 15.7 for foreign nationals, 6.2 for Spanish. And the thing is that I already know, because I've looked at data from Italy, from Denmark, from Germany, from the United Kingdom, as much as we have it, and I know that that higher rate is way out there for certain countries. Okay, it's not like, so people from Japan, for example, they commit crimes way less. People from India, they commit crimes much less in the United Kingdom than native British citizens. Okay, so
I feel that Russian and the British people, they kind of on the same level to this crime, have this crime rate. But I know that if we will compare how many policemen has Russia and USA, America has much more policemen even than Russia has. And America has much more people in prisons than Russia has. And that is interesting. I didn't know this. There was some statistic, or maybe they kind of close by percentage, let's say like this, but there are a lot of people. They're like, how? Like, I think that because in America a lot of people have guns, that's my feeling, and that's why people do this crime related to gun crime stuff. Yeah, that is just my suggestion. Yeah.
What I'm saying is that there are certain countries, and Morocco is one of them. So again, it's like, Spain, wake up. But there are some similarities between the United Kingdom and Spain already, right? So Spain have got this left-wing government, but it's kind of like for the United Kingdom, it would be that coalition between Labour and the Green Party, okay? So let's really hope that never happens and do everything we can to avoid it. But in Spain, the right-wing parties are now leading in the polls. So again, it's kind of similar to the United Kingdom. We had this left-wing government put in place, and then they just basically mess everything up. And not saying that the Conservatives or the right-wing governments did anything better. They definitely didn't, right? But, okay, so similar, okay? Now we've got the right-wing governments leading in the polls in Spain. That's so have a look at this. You've got People's Party, that's right-wing government, right-wing party, 30.9%, and then Vox at 18.3% is another right-wing. So they would basically add up to 49%, not an outright majority, but they would be likely to take the next, take power next in Spain. And the next election in Spain is in 2027, so sooner. In the United Kingdom is 2029. Some further important context.
They will not be able to receive their passports in 2027, just in case, I'm telling. It's not working like this so fast.
On Spain. So Spain leans very heavily towards socialism, okay? So government spending is 45.3% of the total economy in Spain. So yeah, and that has the kind of results that you'd expect. Now the general government debt is over 100% of GDP. So this produces terrible work opportunities for the youth.
Oh my god, I didn't know. I didn't think about this aspect. Yes, they're stimulating economy. I knew this and I've heard about this. But that debt that has this country, Spain, I didn't think about this. Wow.
And then completely unsustainable welfare and pension benefits, and just typical European socialism, right? So lack of innovation, lack of dynamism, lack of competitiveness, lack of productivity, stagnating economy, and increasing irrelevance on the world stage. So Spain is a great example of that. And it's just terrible for young people, so they leave often. They leave Spain to go and find jobs in other economies across the EU. Remember that one of those arguments made by a lot of the NGOs and charities and businesses regarding why so much immigration, even illegal migration being regularized, was so important for Spain. One of their arguments was because we need the people to fill the jobs. That's one of their arguments. So I think these next statistics are very important to put that in context. So in Spain, for working age people, only 66% are actually working. Only 66%. That means 36% are not working. Now their official unemployment rate is 10%, okay? But that means that they're not that 10% is not seeking work. But
well, he's talking about this employment rate. I was thinking about Japan. Japan doesn't. I mean, they're racist. Japanese as society. It's not a secret, and same is about Korea, South Korea. I was living in South Korea 1.5 years, and I know that they're racist. Yeah. And towards white people, and not only. And if you will look on statistics, despite that they have in Japan aging population and stuff like that, they still do not openly invite so much as Spain doing it. they extremely strict about their xenophobic relationships with other countries and with other people. Yeah, interesting.
36% of working age people in Spain are not working. And then they have these massive pensions for the older generations as well that are beyond working age. It's just a completely unsustainable situation. Of course, the economy has been set up for the older generations, by the older generations, and the youth are just having a terrible time. And so they're not working. What's the point, basically? Because the government's going to give them money anyway. They're not going to earn more than they get on benefits anyway. But for some reason, they think that these people are going to come in migration, illegal migration, they're just going to work forever. But no, they're going to enter a situation, as we see in Britain, okay, as well. Not for all different migrants, don't get me wrong, but certain groups, okay, they'll come in, work for a bit, right, and then they'll qualify for benefits, they'll be in social housing, they'll cost the state a net, yeah, so net it will be a cost, there'll be a cost, so it will make things worse. I just want to tell you a little synchronistic story, because I was going to make this video, right, and I met this woman in a town centre close to me, to where I live, okay, and she was holding up this sign in the town centre, and it said, corruption within the council. And so I thought, you know, I'm always digging for some content, so let me have a chat with this lady. So I started talking to her and I said, what corruption's happening in the council? And she said, well, you know, they're not coming to fix my council house. They're not coming to fix all of these issues with these houses. If you're in social housing, they won't come and fix it, and you can send them letters and it's just corruption. The money just goes elsewhere, and then they'll send a contract around and it's corrupt, and they're all in bed together. And I said, out of interest, you know, you've got an accent, where are you from? And she said, I'm from Spain. And I said, okay, I thought, well, that's interesting. So you've come from Spain and now you're living in council housing in Britain, social housing. And now, right, I'm sure we made the same argument to ourselves when she came over, needed for the work, yeah? But now she's in social housing, okay. And then, you know, she's complaining about the local council because they're not fixing her social house fast enough. So I thought that was kind of synchronistic and an interesting thing to reflect on. Now, look, the thing is, right, Spain was kind of overtaken by Islam, right, between the years like 711 AD and 1492 AD. And of course, it took like a coalition, a lot of fighting, right, to rid Spain of Islam. Now, of course, Spain at the moment doesn't have a huge Islamic population, as we've seen, but it's growing, yeah. So remember that data we looked at for on religions was as of 2020, and we've seen all that migration, a huge amount from Morocco, and we're seeing now the incentivization of more illegal migration coming into Spain. Right now, this is a real threat. I think that in other countries, especially in the United Kingdom and elsewhere, we do see these ideologies, and they do result in disunity and issues culturally within the country. Let's be honest, okay? So Spain, just remember what happened, right? Remember what happened back between 711. Now, I know you weren't alive. 711 and 1492, okay? Remember what had to happen to save you, yeah? Okay, so we don't want that to happen again. Yeah. And I know this is kind of a little bit rich coming from someone, from a Brit, right, in the United Kingdom, where we've got our hands full of problems. We have no sort of shortage of problems whatsoever. But look, like, I would say the same thing for Spain as I think for the United Kingdom. I think we basically have to really shut down this whole flawed ideology of just constant free migration around the world and be a lot smarter about it and have borders. I know, crazy, right? Let's have borders again. So I think that is something that needs to be done sooner rather than later. And I think there's warnings for Spain.
But Britain, they left European Union. They had Brexit. Why he's worrying about Spain if they left Brexit?
Look at the data in Denmark, have a look at what's happening in other countries across Europe, and act accordingly, vote accordingly. So I think that you need to vote in, you know, a party quickly that will get a handle on this situation. But I can kind of understand from Spain's perspective, you've got all these people from Latin America, right? But again, like, and they're thinking, well, look, they're so integrated, they've been here a long time, let's just do a one-off thing, and we'll just, you know, they're working in a way, like, I get it. But at the same time, I sort of feel like, well, they broke the rules. They've been breaking the rules all of this time, and you want to reward that? what are we doing here? Do we even have rules anymore? So I'm kind of divided, but I think overall it's the wrong thing to be doing. Spain shouldn't be doing this. They should have a hardline stance. They should look at how do they increase their fertility rates, right? How do they do more for the young people? How do they increase innovation? You're going to have to cut a lot of the pensions, a lot of the social welfare, and you need to pump that money into infrastructure development to become competitive on the global stage, right? Time to get real and focus on the young people, right? That's what I think needs to happen. Same in the United Kingdom, of course. By the way, I'm fully aware of the irony of a Brit saying this about Spain when many Brits go to Spain and basically set up their own colonies, right, with pubs and their eggs and chips and beers and whatever, okay, and club music on the beach. All right, but I understand the irony of that. I think that when you migrate somewhere, you should really embrace the culture and be really conscious of it. You should learn the language and be really respectful of the people. I know I've lived in other countries, and yeah, I think it's super important to do that. So that's it for today. Please like the video if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you aren't already and you'd like to hear more from me. Also, I have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the...
Okay. That was interesting to listen him. It is completely different story. Different story. I cannot say that I can agree with this or something like that. For me, today was interesting to be with you online because I tried to understand what is going on in Spain. To say that I understood everything is a lie, complete lie, because I didn't understand everything. And to say that I didn't understand at all, I mean, like, I got a little bit. That it is a difficult issue and a lot depends from what your beliefs are, and a lot of people divided by own views how everyone must to live. As about last guy, he has bias because he's like Britain and he's I don't know why he's so worried about Spain when he's kind of they did Brexit. They didn't want to be with Europe. They didn't like their money to spend on Europe, and because their economy is better as some countries, they didn't like the fact that some countries like Greece always need money and they're paying for these other countries, they were investing into this, and they were tired of this. They left European Union, and now why they're going like asking what is Spain is doing what they want. That's all. End of point. End of topic. And yeah, that's true. Anyway, that was an interesting topic for me to watch with you. I hope that you enjoyed this live stream, and I know that maybe it was a little bit boring to watch so many videos about what is going on in Spain, but each video was giving different perspective. Each video was giving completely different views, and you can see that I'm trying to look from different corners in order to understand and to find this balance in opinions, and it looks like I don't know, at least I tried. But as for now, thank you for being with me. You can leave your likes, I appreciate this a lot. I will appreciate a lot if you will go and find on Amazon wishlist. I have so much stuff, and in the future I want to do some discovery of little cells, you know, this micro world that is around us. We just don't see this. These cells of plants, I want to watch with you and try to understand this. And that would be amazing if we will have such opportunity to do together I know I'm asking a lot, but yes, if you can find my Amazon wish list. You can leave likes, it is absolutely free, and leave your comments. I appreciate this so much. As for now, I'm wishing you to be yourself, be healthy, be wealthy, and I'm hugging you. Thank you. Good night. Good night. And as always, see you next time.